Never finish a negative statement. Reverse it immediately, and wonders will happen in your life. Dr. Joseph Murphy. Welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Ambitious Women Over 40, helping you put down the bottle and pick up conscious, happy living. Gals, it's snippet time! So excited. I love snippet time, and I love living in snippet land. If you're new here, welcome to Snippet Land, an entire ecosystem for the 40-plus professional woman who's got it all together except the booze. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I have a beautiful little snippet for you today. One of my favorite things to do is to take a simple quote from a great thinker and turn it into a snippet. And that's what I'm doing today. But we do that here on a deeper level as well. We actually take entire books, personal development books, and we turn them into a series of snippets. And I call that a book study. Well, guess what, gals? On Monday, this coming Monday, the 10th of November, we're starting our next book study. We are looking at Don Miguel Ruiz's amazing little book, The Four Agreements. So get ready for Monday. And if you want to follow along with the book, grab the book this weekend, maybe listen to it or just read the introduction. I'll be doing the introduction on Monday. But if you don't want to read the book, just show up and I will walk you through some key quotes because that's how we do the book study. I grab some key quotes. We talk about how those actions apply to us, professional, over 40, struggling with alcohol. So that starts Monday. But today, I have a quote from one of my favorite guys, Dr. Joseph Murphy. He was amazing, and I'm sure you know who he is. Check him out on YouTube. Have at her, get one of his books, have fun with it. Actually, there's an author we haven't done yet. There's something to think about. But today, we're just going to go ahead and take one of his quotes. I actually have 3 quotes from him, all on the same topic. But the one that I started with really just sums it all up. Never finish a negative thought. Reverse it immediately, and wonders will happen in your life. Now, Murphy taught about the subconscious mind, and we talk about that a lot here. This is about mindset, gals, how we are led by our minds. And so I'm going to give you another quote also from Murphy on the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees. Right? Let me say that again. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees. The word decrees in there really gives me the shivers because it makes us realize that what we say, what we think, what we feel is a decree. It's like we have the power of God inside of us to decree what's going to happen in our lives by merely thinking a thought or speaking a thought or feeling a thought or acting on a thought. And if those thoughts are negative, we're building our lives. And our poor little subconscious mind, not little, a very powerful subconscious mind, but nonetheless, it doesn't think for itself. The subconscious mind simply takes orders from your conscious mind. So if you're not taking care of what you're thinking, you're giving your subconscious mind, well, I don't know how else to say it, but crappy directions. It's like, who's in charge around here? And the subconscious mind, it just says, oh, okay, you're an idiot. Got it. Okay, I understand. And it proceeds to make you do things that make you look like an idiot. I'm not kidding. Let me read it one more time. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees. Okay? Oh, so how do we start controlling our conscious mind? I mean, it's insane, right? It's just going all the time. Well, one way is to just start being aware and never finish that negative thought. So this is a practice you can start, and you can start it right now. Let me read the key quote first, one more time. Never finish a negative statement. Reverse it immediately, and wonders will happen in your life. Gals, this is a practice. This is a fun practice. You can just say, you know what? Starting today, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be aware of what I'm thinking, and I'm going to reverse any negative thought that I have and replace it with something else. And wonders will happen in my life. So let's have a look here. How can we do this? Well, there's many ways. One is to rewrite it. We don't repress the thought, we rewrite it. It's not about pretending everything's perfect, but about rewiring or rewriting your ongoing mental dialogue. For example, I failed at that project. The minute you think that, stop. And instead you can say, I learned exactly what to do differently next time. Or what about this one? I'm such a failure because I slipped, relapsed, thought about drinking, fill in the blank. Becomes, I caught the thought. I'll choose better next time, depending on what happened, right? But never catastrophize, never catastrophize. Don't use absolutes, and I'm going to expand on both of those in a minute, even though I'm using them right now. When I say never catastrophize, that's an absolute. Never. But it's never do that, okay? But we want to avoid absolutes because in the terms when they come out in negative thoughts. For example, I always fail. Always is an absolute. Like, really? Always? Come on. That's nonsense. I'm going to call bullshit on that one. You don't always fail, right? That's another thing. We catastrophize in our own internal dialogue about our own actions. The subconscious mind hears all of that. And you know what it does? It sets up your life so that you fail, so that you drink, so that you, right? We've got to start driving the boat, the car, the whatever, the engine. We have to start taking control of the conscious mind so that the subconscious mind can start showing up for us in positive, helpful ways. If things are going wrong all the time, it's because your subconscious mind has been given the wrong messages. Remember, it accepts what your conscious mind decrees. So, repetitive negative thoughts, they're like emotional tax. They drain your energy, age you, and make you tighten up internally. When we rewrite them, this loosens up the body, the mind, and the spirit, and you reclaim your vitality. So what we want to do is start deciding that we're never, ever going to finish a negative thought. Now, of course, you're going to, but the key here is catch it as soon as you can. So if you think a negative thought and don't even notice it, and a few minutes later you do, that's fair enough. That's soon enough. You caught it. So this whole practice begins with awareness. You can decide today, okay, let me just pay attention to what I'm thinking about myself as I go through my day. It'll be hard at first. It really will. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to need to be taking those deep breaths because your mind has just been going on and on and on for all these years and decades, thinking whatever it wants, making up stories about you that are negative. And to try and turn that ship around takes some time and some energy and some intention and some desire. But the more you do this, the less automatic negative thoughts become and the more choices you have. One thing you can do is get an anchor word for yourself. One of the ones I'm using right now is the phrase yesterday's news. Yesterday's news. When something comes into my mind that's about the past, or I'll just look at it, as soon as I recognize it, I'll just say, oh, that's yesterday's news. But you could use something like, let's go again, or reverse it, or undo, or next verse, right? Choose an anchor thought that the minute you recognize you've gone off on a little negative mental tangent, you can just say out loud, reverse. For me, I say out loud, oh, yesterday's news. I don't know why I chose that one, but it appeals to me. Find one that appeals to you, and that phrase becomes an anchor. The minute you say it, it indicates to your conscious and therefore your subconscious mind, wait a minute, hold it, put the brakes on. No, wait, not going there. So choose an anchor word today. And then there's a journal prompt I can give you as well. I want you to sit down and think about a thought you can think in place of a negative thought. So you use your anchor word to stop it, and then you can flow right into your predetermined positive thought. Now, I've shared this one a million times here on the show, but I'm still using the same one. Mine is, I relax and put aside all mental burdens. I've shared it many times. That, for some reason, I like that one. I've used it for, 5, 6, 7 years or something. It's memorized and it's just autopilot for me. I relax and put aside all mental burdens. Done. So today you can do two things. Well, three. First of all, you can decide to start being aware. Second, you can get yourself an anchor word that will stop it in its tracks, such as yesterday's news or reverse, and then flow into a phrase that works for you, something that reverses the whole negative thought. And the one that I use, and you can use whatever you want, you can have mine if you want. I love mine because it's not specific. I relax. I love the fact that it says relax because we're usually very tense when this happens. I relax and put aside all mental burdens. So I'll be going along and I'll notice something and I'll say out loud, well, yesterday's news. And then I'll breathe as I mentally say, I relax. And on the exhale, I put aside all mental burdens. Gals, here's another thought from Joseph Murphy on this. The way to get rid of darkness is with light. The way to overcome cold is with heat. The way to overcome the negative thought is to substitute the good thought. Affirm the good, and the bad will vanish. Dr. Joseph Murphy. There's an entire practice for you that you can do for the next 5 years. No, I'm not kidding. You're going to have, it takes a while, right? But it's these types of things that can change us. And we need to change the subconscious programming if we're going to quit drinking. So if you're sitting there going, she hasn't even mentioned alcohol once. We don't talk about alcohol all that much around here because it's not about the booze. It is not about the booze. It's how we're living our lives. It's how we're thinking. It's how we're choosing not to heal. That's what we talk about here. But if you're struggling with alcohol, I can guarantee you that tied to it is an internal dialogue that is taking you down. What do you say when the thought comes, you really do deserve a drink? Whoa, yesterday's news. I relax and put aside all mental burdens. So today, get yourself an anchor word, get yourself a phrase that you can flow into, that phrase that you memorize it, write it in your journal, and then memorize that sucker so that it's automatic, goes on autopilot. So you don't have to sit there in the moment and try to think of it. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Never judge yourself. Never get irritated with how many times you catch yourself being negative. Just breathe, grab your anchor word, flow into your alternate thought, and you will soon find yourself more and more in the positive and less in the negative. And that means you're reprogramming that subconscious mind. Once it starts to get the message, it will take over for you. And then you're going along. And once you have the subconscious mind working for you, man, things just happen automatically. That is a beautiful place to be. And when you get to that, the alcohol becomes less and less important because you're not feeling all that internal tension. It's been a pretty heavy week here in Snippet Land, talking about negative thoughts, talking about aging ourselves with them, talking about emotional immaturity. It's been a lot, but gals, this is what we want to do if we want to make this the best chapter of our lives. And I want nothing less than that for you. So gals, if you enjoyed this little talk on one or two quotes from Joseph Murphy, I invite you to come back on Monday, and we are starting day one, the first episode, the first installment of our study of Don Miguel Ruiz's little book, The 4 Agreements. So that means for the next 5 Mondays, we're going to go through that book, 5 chapters, and apply the concepts to sobriety. And it'll be very similar to what we did today with one little quote from Joseph Murphy. Meanwhile, today's a great day to go to the show notes and grab my guides, because included in the guides is a study guide for the 4 Agreements book study we're starting on Monday. Powerful journal prompts tied directly to the 5 chapters that we're going to be studying starting this Monday, November 10th. Grab the guide, grab a pen, and let's get ready to find out what the 4 agreements can do for us on our journey to sobriety. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.